Good afternoon from Sacred Space at Titania's Realm. It's 3:14 p.m. on the 23rd of April 2024, and it also happens to be the first day of Passover. So I've had a lovely day. I've had a very spiritual day, actually. I was, awaiting the housing inspector, and when he came, he was a gorgeous, sweet, open-hearted, spiritual man. It was a delightful encounter. So that was soul innovating and soul nourishing, because they usually come along and they're just unpleasant, redneck, bureaucratic awfulness. But no, he was a delight. But anyway, I talk about it in my writings. I've actually posted about that on Facebook, so it's already up on Vocal Media. And anyway, so I'm happy. I'm a bit tired still, but I'm happy today. Got no reason to be unhappy. Yes, so life is beautiful, people. Charlie's out in the garden. You can probably hear her twittering quite loudly. She's had a lovely day too. So let us begin my daily readings of my daily journaling. 23rd of Memories, 23rd of April 2024. Visiting the Progenitors Memorial Beach at King Island, honouring my ancestors via memory. Unravelling. Unravelling is a term I describe when I'm not feeling mentally well and I literally decompensate or unravel. And I posted a photograph of my beautiful socks with Charlie beside him on the spare bed. It was rare that Charlie hung out with socks, so I thought that was delightful and couldn't resist taking a photo. Here's the rest of her. She kind of got chopped in half. 23rd of April 2024. Watching Searching for the Dragons 17 on YouTube, I look up and see a cloud with what looks like a dragon. Jungian synchronicity strikes again, smiley face. This was just about an hour or so ago. But it was a bit astonishing, people of Earth. Got that. Can you see a dragon? I can. Just amazing. Passover for me is always a deeply spiritual time. Sometimes it coincides with my birthday, but this year it didn't. But it's always very kind of intense, but all these spiritual synchronicities seem to happen. And I wonder why that is, but it's lovely. It's really lovely. I also saw the time 111, but I usually write 111 and I make some little message from the angels, that I make up, or I say make a wish, but I didn't post today. I let it go, and then after not doing anything about the 111, I saw the dragon, so I did take particular notice of that, because that was the second spiritual message of the day. And then the third spiritual message was the lovely housing inspector being so delightful. So here I wrote, the housing inspector just left. He was a lovely, very large Māori man, fresh out from New Zealand. He told me, I'm glad I left your house until one of the last to inspect. Your house has such wonderful, positive energy. I feel all happy and uplifted, and his whole face shone like with radiant with happiness, and he really did indeed look happy and uplifted. And I just sort of stared at him in astonishment, because I dread having a housing inspection every year. Every year they send someone out. There wasn't one last year, they forgot to turn up. But usually yearly they come out, and they're really horrible to me, and there's usually some kind of tension or fight. But this man was just gorgeous. He was a beautiful soul. So I wrote, I was amazed. I used to get rancid, bureaucratic, little man syndrome psychopaths. He said, I look forward to coming to your house again in 1 year's time. You've created a beautiful home here. I replied, and with your wonderful attitude, you will be more than welcome. And we just smiled at each other. It was delightful. A soul-nourishing encounter indeed. His name was Gerardo, spelt Gerardo. Lovely man. And even that was a bit kind of amusing to me, because I have a habit of sometimes calling my friend Jared Gerardo the Magnificent, goes back in the days, years ago, when I first left my husband, and I would struggle and I'd say, Jared, my computer's died, I don't know how to fix it. He'd come over and get my computer going. Or, Jared, I don't know what to do with this. Or, Jared, I need help cooking dinner, I'm off my head today. In those days I was really unwell, severely traumatised from being freshly strangled, and I'd be really, not coping. And Jared would come and we'd cook a meal together, and it would be all lovely, and I'd say, you really are magnificent, Jared. Where would I be without you? And, so I nicknamed him Gerardo the Magnificent. So this lovely gentleman coming through my gate and flips me his name badge, Gerardo, and I'm like trying not to laugh, but he wouldn't know why that was funny, right? So I'm just smiling, and he, true to his name, like my beautiful friend Jared, he was another beautiful soul. So they're out there, people, men who are beautiful souls. And anyway, he wasn't at all being sleazy either. He was just a lovely, heartfelt, sweet person. He was telling me about his wife and children adapting to their new life in Australia and Brisbane, because they came from South Auckland, And then we got talking, and I said, I come from Wellington, from Island Bay. And he went, Island Bay? I know Island Bay well, he said. We used to go there and collect kina and paua. And I said, I know, man. The Māoris were always coming, collecting all the pauas, and they'd leave sacks and sacks of shells, which this is paua shell, I'll show you up close. That's what it looks like. It's called abalone, but abalone is more muted colours. New Zealand paua is much more brighter colours. But anyway, I said, now I make jewellery from it. But I said, when I was a kid, there was sacks and sacks of worth I could have collected and hoarded, I said, but I didn't think about making jewellery with it. And now it costs a fair bit of money to buy. And he's like laughing too. He said, yeah, he said, when we were kids, we used to leave the shell out in the hot sun to bake in the hot sun for about a year, he said. And then all the barnacles and outer shell would peel off the back of the paua shell, and that's how we'd get it all like polished up. I looked at it and thought, that's good to know. That's handy knowledge. I never knew that. So you see, when you know, you know. So I looked at him in a bit of astonishment. I said, well, I actually bought some polished paua shell. And he went, did you? And I went, yes. I said, I've got one on each of my bedside tables. I said, I roll over to one side, and I'm looking at PowerShell from my home country, and then I roll over the other side and I'm looking at PowerShell, and I feel like I'm at home. And I said, because I haven't been able to afford to go home to New Zealand since the last time was in, you know, early 2000, late 2004, early 2005. He says, what? You haven't been home in all this time? I went, no fucking money. I said, so I look at my PowerShells and I'm home all the time. They're right beside me. And he went, oh, that's beautiful, Tanya. It's like, it's beautiful, but it's also kind of a bit fucking pathetic. And it's so typical of me being a psychedelic dreamer that I'm manifesting home via the PowerShell, but I don't actually get to go home. I was planning to go home in February this year, but no money, ran out of money. But I have a passport, so all I need is a miracle and I'll go home for, 4 or 5 days or a week or something. Fuck it, I'll make it a week at least. If I get to go home, got to make a feast of it. But anyway, it was just such a lovely conversation, and he oh, your home. He said, your home is so beautiful. And I said, yes. I said, all through COVID, everyone was screaming about dying, and I was like, we're all going to die, but not fucking today. It's ridiculous. And he said, so what did you do? I said, I got busy creating. I said, making my home beautiful. He said, oh, it's so lovely. I'm really impressed. So, I felt soul nurtured and valued and cherished and appreciated from this lovely, sweet, kind man from my own country of origin. Isn't that delightful? And so continue reading. 23rd of April 2023. I woke up at 11:17 a.m. I worked and danced hard over the last 4 days. So here comes the typical Tanya crash and burn. But I needed the sleep. So, je ne regrette rien. That's French for I regret nothing. Here I post a photo of my little achievements. In the middle is the actual gumnut, little baby gumnut, and then the 2 silver gumnuts either side, and the inside of the larger gumnuts that I poured molten silver into out of curiosity to see how it would come out looking. And I love it. I must start wearing it actually. I've made 2, one for me and one to sell, but oh well, anyway, I'm starting to wear my things because it's like waste not, want not. Here's the back end of it. The ass end of it. You can't see it, can you? Too much reflection. Oh, my neck just went crack. Right. This afternoon and evening's mischief. I think I made my gumnut babies too freckly with the ball burr. Oops. What can I say? My freckles will keep happening because Straya, mate. Not to mention the epic slicing from my skin cancer excisions, which, by the way, I'm grateful that I didn't need any more splicing and dicing for the last 12 months. So take your vitamin D, people. It's helping stave off the early stage cancers and the nasties, and hopefully keeps going that way too. So it is a worry with my fair skin. I also cut off the sprue from the large gumnut embryo ingot thingy. I call them gumnut embryos because I poured it inside it, so it's kind of the embryo of it, if you get my vibe. Hope that makes sense. Makes sense to me. Now I'm tired and hungry. The Tanya. Tired and hungry equals anarchy and chaos. I am also cleaning my guttering today, then pruned banana trees and a few other plants. Exhausting. Hashtags. Titania's realm. Somebody stop me. Too much magic is never too much. Too much magic is happening. I need a rest. Take me on a day trip to anywhere. Cover me in kisses. Laughing out loud. That's in reference to that song. Cover me in kisses, baby. Cover me in love. La 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 la. Never get enough. It's Blondie. But anyway. 11:33 p.m. This one is a work in progress. I just posted these photos on the Women's Metalsmith Collective as someone else was asking for advice on setting their square stone, synchronicity. So I was glad she asked for advice because it was the exact same thing I needed to know in that moment. So it's amazing how the information was just immediately gifted to us both. This will be my first stone setting into a bezel, so I am nervous as hell. Someone already wrote that the stone is soft, so will crack. Another woman replied that it should be fine as long as I go slowly and gently and am patient. I am grateful for that encouragement, as I'm not even sure it will survive the soldering of the bezel to the back plate. I worked on making the bail this afternoon. Well, I made the bail yesterday, but it was not bending right, so I cut the edges of the square so it bent in a more geometric fashion. I will need to solder the bend so it is strengthened again in the two corners of the bail. Anyway, hopefully I will make this beautiful pendant in a few days' time, all being well. And I did indeed make it, and I gifted it to my daughter Crystal. You can almost pick up the sheen of it, can't you? It's a beautiful moonstone. I love moonstone and labradorite. I love shiny, shiny things. I'm like a little magpie. And then here I kind of set it up as if how it will look when it's put together, if that makes sense. No, it wasn't soldered yet. I just sat it there to try and get the feel of it. Get the feel of how it will look. And that's, I textured the back plate is textured. I must get into making things again. I've got to get some money for some more silver sheet and just get back at my bench and get busy, because I enjoy it. The whole day goes and I sometimes get overtired and cranky and frustrated when things don't work how I want them to, but I enjoy it. Here I'm sitting the stone inside the bezel I'd made. No, you can't see it. I need to get away from the glare there. Which I textured the outside of it, so I wonder if my daughter's even wearing it, or if it's another thing I made that was not appreciated and just blah. Had a lot of that happen to me over the years with gifts I made for people, which is why I stopped making things for people. I thought, fuck it, what's the point? But my beautiful Jared wears his pendants that I've made him. I've seen him wear them, and I know he appreciates them. So that makes me feel happy and contented, and my art is valued and cherished. 23rd of April 2021. Oh dear goddess, here's me walking at King Island where I've got all my Rello's ashes deposited, looking quite triumphant and happy there. I was probably about to come home, get away from that energy. Oh, anyway. Here's what it looks like at low tide, the long walk back to Wellington Point. It's a beautiful spot. Not quite sure why I went there and what brought me to go there, for what reason. They must have been calling me to come there, the spirits, as they do. Oh, in the front of that photograph is my beautiful little Beauregard. So, my beautiful boy, greatly, greatly missed. I am surrounded and infused with beauty and sacred healing, even though large aspects of my soul are a festering, seeping wound. The pain in my liver and or drained sight increased when I stood at the top end of the island where Gisela and David's ashes are deposited, my mother and father's names. I noticed a dead, unnatural silence. I prayed to my true, loyal, loving ancestors to protect me from their filthy, cloying, interfering energies. So I actually found it kind of interesting how the pain got more intense the closer I got to where they're deposited. That's the power they still have over me, even physically, after all these years. It's a bit frightening when you think about it. It's why I very rarely go there. When I go there, I have to pray for protection and call in my my guardian angels, and it's fucking intense, people. But it is what it is. I walked back down the beach, heading home. Halfway back down the strip of beach, I heard the tiny gnashings of dozens of little pincers, the only sound on the beach. 2 sweet little girls greeted me with a warm hello. They stopped to chat about their love of cats and showed me a photo of their cats. Gorgeous. I felt loved by little miniature strangers. Life is bizarrely good. Later I wrote Shabbat Shalom, which means it's Friday night, the sun was setting. It's dark. I am tired. I would go dancing if it weren't for that fact, and that I also have to find a new venue where I'm not treated like a bush pig for my femaleness. I wonder where that new spot might be. So yes, 2021, didn't I say? Let me just scroll back. Yes, and I was having trouble at the Treasury Casino even back then. I held my ground in that space for a long, long time, even though there was so much viciousness towards me, which made no sense, did nothing to deserve that. So it's odd. But anyway, 2021 was also the height of the COVIDian hysteria, so there was that. 1:11 p.m. also saw 12:11 and 11:11. My angels are recalibrating my soul, smiley face. 23rd of April 2020, and I posted that photo that I showed you before of Charlie and Socks together on the bed. Just a birdie and his cat chilling in the sunset. You can actually see that the white mattress protector that I had to put on top of the bed, because Socks developed a habit of doing massive steaming poopykins on the bed. But you can actually see it's got a kind of a slight pink tinge, and that was from the sunset reflecting through the window. Gonna have to bring Charlie in. It's sun's low, getting low and dark out there already, and it's only 3:40 p.m. now. 23rd of April 2020. Today I made a cheesecake in the microwave. The recipe, which I must have accidentally deleted, gave no accurate measurements. So here is what I did. I crushed half a packet of digestive biscuits, added a little butter, not in the recipe, and spread them on the bottom of an earthenware bowl suitable for the microwave. I then mixed together 500 grams of plain Greek yogurt, I assume you could use any yogurt, and 1 tin of condensed milk. Poured the mixture into the bowl. Put it in the microwave and nuked it for 4 minutes. Possibly could have cooked for another minute. Then put the cake in the fridge to cool. Delicious. Too bloody delicious. And easy. And diabolical. Haven't made it since, because if I make cakes, because I live alone and I don't get visitors, I eat the whole frickin' cake for breakfast, lunch and dinner until it's gone. So it's extremely fattening, and I try not to bake cakes for that reason, unless someone is actually coming over so they can at least share in eating it with me. Otherwise, it's just diabolical for me, and I have no impulse control when it comes to cakes and puddings and sweets and lollies and, you know, yummy things. No impulse control at all. I've even tried hiding things from myself, like lollies and that. And no, when I get a sweet craving, I will tear the house apart to get at things. So but I've always been that way, even since childhood. I've always been that way. 4:22 a.m. Another long night of insomnia. Arg, driving me nuts. I lay in bed thinking about all my maternal ancestors, especially the female line. So much loss, infants and iniquity and illegitimacy, suicides, poverty. Ah, well, I'm still kicking on in a COVID-19 pandemic practice run apocalypse, and that is already an astounding miracle. Sleep is for the birds, who will soon be waking up while I, hopefully, eventually, pass out with exhaustion. Smiley face. From the comment section, I slept from 5 a.m. to almost noon. 7 hours sleep after battling all night. Weird. Woke up to a hot, late April day. Also uncanny. April is usually cooler. I found out my biological aunt died in that air raid shelter on the 6th of September 1944. I then realised something odd. That date was also my mother's best friend, Auntie Lottie's birthday, who was extremely generous to us. Sent us, gold cutlery and crystal glasses and so much crystal in China, because she thought New Zealand was some tiny little shithole at the end of the world and uncivilized and not even properly, had no culture. So she would send all the most astonishing, very exclusive things out from Germany all through the 70s and 80s, even up into the 90s. She was sending us stuff. Very, very generous woman she was to us. For the past few years, I seem to always have some kind of luck or breakthrough on that day. Notably on the 6th of September 2012, that foul and cruel will dispute ended and I received my relatively paltry inheritance. Last year, nothing extraordinary happened, but I felt her presence most of the day. So now I think the spirit gifts on that day may also be from my aunt, Greta Patula. She died, her name was Margareta, but they called her Greta. She died 21 years before my birth, but I feel confident she may be one of the spirits that love me, that I call on for assistance from time to time. Perhaps that is why I could not sleep last night and my energy was running high. The ancestors clamouring for attention and excitement as I have been working on the family tree. Pity I could not see or hear them and only felt activated by learning more of their life stories. The few bare facts one can glean from birth and death and marriage records. Which is why on my ancestry tree I add little anecdotes and little stories and memories from, so you can see their true personalities come through and more of their life experiences, rather than just the dry bare facts of born this date, died that date, married that date, divorced that date. I added a lot more information and flavour, and it was actually quite delightful. And I was surprised how many people in my Ancestry.com, how many people actually contacted me and said, oh, I love the stories you've written about your family members, and I laughed and I cried, and you've brought them back to life, that they're so real. And I went, yeah, pity they're not always nice stories though, given my family of origin. But I always try to stick to the truth and tell, not just the horror stories of things that they put me through, but also try to mention the nice things. Like, for example, yesterday came up in my memories. I wrote about my sister Angela singing folk songs to me when I was a toddler, to soothe herself, really, to be honest, but to soothe me as well. So, there's happy memories that come up that I try to preserve, even though sometimes I don't want to even give them that much because they were such fucking assholes to me. But, everything in life is yin and yang and dark and light and shadow and, kaleidoscopic, iridescent, beautiful, glistening, glorious aspects of personalities too. So it's good to preserve that, I think. It makes it just shows the whole person, like the all the aspects of their being or their walk on planet Earth, rather than just the ugliness and the awfulness. It's nice to have something lovely to say about them, although sometimes you have to fucking dig deep, right? Which is sad but true. Anyway. 23rd of April 2019. #consent. I'm commenting on a meme. Let me share the meme with you first. I hold on to the tree, try to breathe in its scent, feel its presence. Could improve our health. Hugging trees, that's about. And I wrote #consent. Ask the tree for permission first. Not all trees wish to share their energy. Oh, pardon me. Not all trees will like you. I have a grumpy one in my garden. I actually went to hug that tree once, and I got the energy coming back saying, don't touch me. And then, this was about 4 or 5 years ago, and then recently it kind of said to me, this is a meditation, I'm not grumpy anymore. Still haven't been game to hug it. I'm not hugging grumpy trees. Grumpy trees who don't want to be hugged don't get hugged. So we just stare at each other and smile across the garden now. But here I'm saying, because I do actually believe in that, people. I know it sounds mad to the uninitiated, but every living form has its own energy. So I say here, allow each sentient being their own authority. And don't invade something's space just because it can't get up and run away like a tree. Have respect for the energy of other sentient beings. And plants do communicate. They might not talk in language, but they talk in energy. And if you tune into it, you'd be surprised what insights you will get from the trees. I love it. I love it a lot. Here I also wrote, musing on a book title for a book I may never actually write. Unraveling. Maybe unraveling. Or beloved, a wry twist on my actual life, but then someone already has a book named that. It was a wonderful book actually, so I need to think of another title. I like unraveling, whirling dervishing my light into the void, singing my dream in the primal scream of the sacred streaming. The book unraveling in the ether, waiting like my heart to be plucked and gathered in and revealed. Meh. I said, say hello to the people, and he gave me this really sus look. I was eating chocolate cake, which he can't have, but he drooled on my lap. I offered him a schmacko, which he was really excited about. He gobbled it up, then climbed up on the couch on the armrest, which seems to be his favourite spot. So I tried to get a nice photo, but the beau abhors having his picture taken. Oh, there's my gorgeous boy giving me the really sus look because he didn't want his photo taken. See, I should have asked him for his consent, but I did. I said, say hello to the people, and he just sneered at me. Anyway, Mr. Beauregard had his own ideas about life, like me, and he owned his own authority, and in that I was quite proud of him, actually. He was his own little man dog. Last night I had a long chat with my friend Nigel in New Zealand. Just kind of interesting because last night I had a long chat with him too. I deconstructed my entire love affair with Dave with him. When I explained all the crazy ways we put walls up against each other and yet we are still connected by an energy that is inexplicable, I felt a peace in my heart. Sometimes love is not enough to keep two people together. Not that we were ever officially together anyway, but there was a powerful draw between us that has him still stalking me at crossroads even after all these years. It's bizarre. But I want a healthy, loving partnership with a man that next time I'm spiritually attuned to is a two-way, open-hearted, loving connection that is authentic and heartfelt, sincere and romantic and passionate and loving and kind and soulful. And I don't want these things that have just walls and perspex and fucking ugliness like I had with Dave. But anyway, I continue reading on. It takes a certain level of acceptance and a willingness to include the other person. All my life I've had to look through perspex with my fingernails ripping, trying to have real authentic love in my life. I never had it in any of my sexual relationships, but certainly have been greatly loved by my beautiful friends. Well, I have reached acceptance that some people are not capable of loving a trauma survivor. We are marked and tainted through no fault of our own, but we are strong in what we want from life. Safety, connection, love that is nurturing and edifying, and peace. We crave loyalty and respect. Whenever I let former lovers into my life and they began chipping away at my heart and soul, it became a war of epic proportions. So I actively choose to remain alone and live in the comfort of my garden, pets, and real friends. It took decades to heal from the constant abuse of former family, husband, and ex-boyfriends. I feel this morning like I am finally getting to a point where I can breathe again, be joyous again. I can see how Dave might have wanted to test me, and how even now, 5 years after meeting him, how he still sneaks a peek at me, as deep down he knows we were thwarted from evil, spiteful, envious forces bigger than both of us. But no one killed my love. It's mine, to give out as I please, or to tuck back into my chest and slowly simmer and nurture until the next time I feel brave enough or foolish enough to toss my heart out into the heavens and see who capriciously picks it up and recognizes its true worth. Maybe next life, the one who truly loves me and wants to be my life partner will treat my heart with care and deep respect and uphold me. No games, no bullshit, no vapid cruelties, and no competition. He will choose me each and every time amongst 7 billion people, and he will not stifle or abuse or keep me as a trophy. No, that is not what I want. I am a woman of worth, even in my abject poverty and mental health issues. I am deserving of a loving core family, genuine friends, and a partner who honours me. I have lived alone for 24 years, and I will not sacrifice my autonomy for anyone. I walk humbly with my gods, and only they can see what, or that should be who, is truly meant for me. And it's 29 years and 4 months I've lived alone for now. A long, long time of self-determination and independence and fighting for my right to party and holding my own alone. And it's not so bad. I'd gladly make those choices again and again. Being safe, being free are the most valuable values of all. 23rd of April 2017. This afternoon I attended the Yom HaShoah commemoration of the Holocaust. It's always a somber affair. Mass genocide and generational trauma will do that for you. However, whilst awaiting the service to begin, I had to giggle as sitting in front of me was the Chabad Lubavitcher rabbi, one of my rabbis, who has always upheld my dignity in the past. A lovely mensch. To the left of me, 2 rows in front, I could not help notice a young woman with long brown hair, sporting a tattoo on the back of her neck. Cool, thought I. But no, wait for it. Her young male partner, brother, boyfriend, sitting next to her, quickly pointed out to her that the rabbi was sitting not far away and might also espy the tattoo. She blanched and quickly flicked her long hair over the tattoo to hide it, glancing over at him to check whether he had seen it or not. I giggled. Jews, if you are going to rebel against ancient Torah prohibitions against tattoos and scarifications, and no doubt other body modifications, then please stand by your decision and don't hide. Here's mine, babies, complete with God's name underneath it, the burning bush. Don't hide the salient facts. Ha ha. I nearly fell off the pew. My tattoo was not on display as I ran out of singlet tops and had a sleeved t-shirt on, as it was the only clean one left. I don't run and hide from God, Rabbi, or from the Goy. I am what I am, a daughter of Hashem and all her infinite tribalist displays, a survivor. Anyway, the service eventually began, Jewish mean time, 10 minutes late, and towards the end of it, a sweet little girl came to sit beside me and shot me a lovely, warm smile. She leaned forward to let her father and aunt know she was feeling hot. They passed her a water bottle. She noticed I had been fanning myself with the service pamphlet, so I took pity on the child and gave it to her to fan herself with. She was thrilled. Being a child, she took off her shoes and pulled up her top layer of her dress, thick lining underneath, so I resisted the urge to pull her dress back down as nothing was on show. But the dear proceeded to point all 10 of her toes under the seat of the man in front of her, so she could prod him on the tuchus, that means bottom. I quietly asked if she knew the man. Yes, he is my aunt's boyfriend. Gave me another triumphant, beatific smile. By this time, I suggested she might get in trouble for poking him with her toes, so she stopped, but seemed perfectly happy in my company. A soulmate. When the service ended, she walked out the back and awaited her family members. I stopped and gently asked her, "What is your name, little one?" She grinned and said, "Evangelina." I shook hands with her and stated, "I am Tanya Aarons. Have a wonderful day." Then moseyed on down to where the statue is to finish off the prayers outside. That little girl was a breath of fresh air and reminded me of myself as a child. Very enchanting, or evangelical, laughing my ass off. Unusual name for a Jewish girl, But whom am I to judge? I got the usual filthy looks from my usual enemies, but I am not bothered. Karma, b'shalom, laughing out loud. 23rd of April 2017. I look very serious here, very serious indeed. And I titled it Portrait of the Artist as a Mature Age Woman. Did I title it that? Yes, I did. My goodness, that was 7 years ago now. Look pretty much the same. My wrinkles are, well, there's a few new wrinkles, but it is what it is. Love me, love my wrinkles, darlings. My face is my fortune. Hasn't been a fortunate life, so my face is also ravaged by time. But it happens to all of us eventually, so suck it up, buttercup, and just keep on dancing. 23rd of April 2016, 12:17 a.m, in bed with my cat, Penny. Bobo the berserker is in his crate for the night. House silent. I hope I feel better tomorrow. Ha ha. Finally dragged out the wet, feathery mattress topper. It took 2 days to wash and rinse effectively. Struggling to get it on the hill's hoist, and the washing line bar almost snapped after being broken for 13 years. Another job for housing, or me if they won't replace it. However, I have finished another big job and also WD-40'd my front door lock, which has been fighting letting me in for the past few weeks. The new glass in my door looks nice. I might even buy a nice colour to paint my front door. I still haven't got around to doing that. I want to paint it turquoise green. Turquoise blue, I mean. Turquoisey greeny blue. Anyway, you know what I mean. Housing are supposed to paint the house, which they have not painted this house since I moved in here 21 years ago. But I am bored of Federation green on my front door. All I need now for the house and garden to look tidy is the lawn mowing. I woke up to a Pesach, that means Passover, miracle. My beautiful friend is helping me out so I can buy a new tyre, enough for 2 tyres if need be. Thank you, my earth angel. I won't name her, she doesn't like being outed on social media for her earth angel generosities to me. And thank you, Hashem. So now I'm having a quick cup of tea and off to take the tyre off my car and put on a spare. Hopefully the spare that came with the car is useful. Then to a tyre place to buy a new tyre. Woohoo! Wheels are rolling again. Thank you so much, all my beautiful friends who helped me stay on track. I finally found a tyre place that is open. Getting 1 tyre as 2 tyres were going to be another $84 with the alignment. I decided to get the second new tyre when my advance comes through. The main thing is having a new tyre to replace the bung one. Phew, so relieved. Still waiting for the new tyre. I'm proud of myself that I got the old wheel off by myself with the help of the manual, as the jack and its tools were quite different. Took some grunting and pushing and sweating, but next time I will know how it all works. I've already forgotten after all these years. Dear Goddess. My friend Karina wrote, Good job. And I replied, I went to ask my neighbour Rob, but he was out, so I had a little panic attack, then got out the manual and managed to do it myself. Women and girls can do anything, smiley face. And Karina replied, that's right, we can. Wow, just had to drive back to Bob Jane's as I left my wallet behind. Someone kindly handed it in. So lucky. Hashem has smiled upon me today. Thank you. So relieved, happy and grateful. It has been a busy day, but everything is back in order. My anxiety is still high, but I will settle. Now I know the car is safe. Will take extra Seroquel. How lucky was I to get 3 blessings in one day. Money for the tyre, an open tyre place, must have been holidays or something. And then my wallet back. That was very lucky indeed. 23rd of April 2014. Back from my debrief. I had to take the bus as Crystal has my car. It's always good to see my doctor. He and I always have a laugh at my bizarre life. Indeed. Someone needs to laugh at it. Sometimes I can't laugh though. Sometimes I just have to go berserk and cry and throw an epic tantrum. And then pull on my big girl panties and carry on. 23rd of April 2011. Got up at 2 p.m. Did several loads of washing. Went for a walk with Bella, mi amore. And listened to my favourite healing energy speakers. Did some dishes. Lots more to do. It'll happen one day. I planned on doing it all this evening, but my motivation and zest has just washed right out of me. Shmeh. It'll all be here, mañana. Gail came and saved me from myself by taking me out to Sizzlers for lunch. Yummo! Then later we took Miss Bella Rosa Aarons for a walk at West End Riverside. That was my little Pomeranian. Followed by a cosy evening in front of the TV, watching Being Human and The Tudors. I had 2 glasses of wine, ate an entire packet of sweet chili chips, and felt quite comforted indeed, laughing out loud. I miss Sizzlers. I used to enjoy going to Sizzlers. Oh well. 23rd of April 2010. My lawyer is taking a caveat out on Mum's house, so hopefully we can stop those gunnifs in their tracks if it's not too late already. A gunnif is Yiddish for thieves. Tonight I had a lovely and amusing dinner with Crystal and her new boyfriend Sonny and Jared. The meal was delicious. An Indian restaurant in Carindale. The company was congenial and the mutual observation was intriguing, laughing out loud. I did try to be on my best behaviour, but Sonny was intimidated by me and I was on to him. Needless to say, that relationship didn't last too long. Mama didn't need to do a thing. I knew it would unravel all by itself, and sure enough it did. I'm a very good judge of character when it comes to my children. But anyway, 23rd of April 2009. It's the day after the day before the first day of the rest of my life. Now what the hell am I going to do with it? Slip sliding away. You know, the nearer your destination, the more you slip sliding away. Still crazy after all these years, and for the uninitiated, don't forget the other soundtrack to my life. So tired of waking up tired, laughing my ass off. Pal Talk sucks majorly lately, and I have no one to play with. Wah! I have to whine at least once a day to keep my psychiatrist in pay. Copyright Tanya Desiree Aarons, and thus concludes today's readings of Even Date. And I'm only joking about my psychiatrist. He earns every penny he ever earned because I'm a difficult customer at times. But I'm joking about being crazy. I'm riffing on being crazy. Actually not crazy at all, except when I'm extremely sleep deprived. But anyway, I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay. And it's now 4:15 p.m. and it's a glorious, that darkness went away and the sun came out again. It's a glorious light. And I'm hungry. I might cook some dinner. I feel like going down to Noodle Box and getting chicken teriyaki noodles. I've got heaps of vegetables here I need to cook. I'm just lazy. I'm really quite lazy. I try to avoid cooking when I can. Oh, I'll never be a domestic goddess. But I go through phases when I do like cooking and then I cook in bulk and I freeze it down. So, but I don't know, today, do I want to cook or do I not want to cook? And also, I've got no Hokkien noodles in the house because that's what I feel like, you know, Hokkien noodles with like teriyaki chicken. I'll have to think about it. I'll have to think about whether I buy dinner or cook dinner and stop wasting money on stupidity because I've got plenty of food here. So there's my answer. I'll have to rattle my dags, pull myself together and just bloody well cook dinner. The Tanya has spoken. But the Tanya has been known to rebel even against her own self. So it can go either way. You have to laugh. Anyway, have a beautiful afternoon and evening. I'm looking forward to a beautiful afternoon and evening. Wherever you are in the space-time continuum. And be happy, be blessed. Pardon me. Stay in love with your true beloved ones who love you deeply, truly and honouringly. Stay in love with your beautiful friends and family and pets and garden and sacred space. Just stay in love, my darlings. Take good care and remember, as always, never ever let the bastards grind you, me, us down. Bye for now.